Hello, hello out there. Hello, hello. Welcome. I'll sit here for a moment before I actually start the show and see who comes on board. If not, I'll start the show and it will just be a podcast. Good evening. If you're joining, good evening. I'll wait for a moment. Also, I'll wait for my guest, Joe Bueno, out of South Carolina. Hello. I see two people join. Yeah. Good evening. Still waiting for Joe. So, good evening, folks. Welcome to Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve. I'm Steve. My partner, Tamika, she's under the weather tonight. I wish her well. Hope she's watching. Get well. I know you're resting. And we'll see you next week. Tonight, we got a good show. I got Joe Bueno out of South Carolina. I'm waiting for him to log on so we can start the interview. But I'd like to first thank everybody who wished me well last week, about 2 weeks ago, specifically on July the 13th, Friday, July the 13th. I had a slip and fall at my job and fell on my back. And I'm now in therapy, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. So let me see if I got Joe here. Okay. I do not have Joe yet. Let me see. Hold tight. So, as we wait for Joe to come in the room, as I was saying, thank you for the well wishes. Getting better, one day at a time, and I hope to be back 100% soon. So this show tonight is talking about a gentleman, Joe Bueno, and I'm trying to wait for him to come on, and he asked me, "Hey, Tamika, how you doing?" Excuse me. So I'm waiting for Joe. This is his first time doing this, so I apologize. So Joe Bueno is a gentleman out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, who had a transplant, and he pretty much turned his life around and want to inspire other people to do what he's done to get on the transplant list and get a transplant rather than sooner than later. He's helped many people lose weight to get on the transplant list, and he's looking to spread this across the United States. Joe, I'm not sure how long he was on dialysis, but apparently he got called 6 times for a transplant to get denied, and on the 7th call, he got the transplant. Now, that's kind of incredible because not a lot of people get that many transplant calls for a transplant. So that's incredible for him to even get 7 calls. So Still waiting for Joe to come on. And let me share some startling facts that I uncovered in my research for this health fair in Jonesboro, Georgia. In Jonesboro, Georgia, which is part of Clayton County, Georgia, Jonesboro has approximately 4,600 residents, population, and 68% are African American, and about 29% are white. However, according to CMS.gov, there are 73 dialysis facilities within a 25-mile radius of this one city of a population of 4,600 people. That's incredible. That is incredible. That tells you right there that the epidemic is serious. It's getting out of control. When you have 73 dialysis units within a 25-mile radius, it's ridiculous. Sorry for the camera movement. I'm getting some information from Joe. Excuse me. Tamika, if you could send Joe Bueno a like or a share from our page to get him. He said he can't find our page. So if you can do that, I'll appreciate that. Let me text him. Sorry, guys. We're going to get this together. So, as I was saying, 73 dialysis units within a 25-mile radius. Here in Randallstown, Maryland, where I live, Randallstown has a population of about 32,000 residents, and there's only 65 units within the 25-mile radius. I mean, I could see that, but 73 in a population of 4,600 people, and the population is majority African American. So again, this is serious. That is why this tour is needed, especially down south, because dialysis, diabetes, and hypertension is really rampant down south. Down south, they like to eat a lot of fried food, a lot of food high in sodium, a lot of food high in carbs, sugar. So the education is needed. It's definitely needed. So in Jonesboro, that's just one city within a county. Now there's other cities in that county that has a larger population than Jonesboro's, but just to know that 73 units is within 25-mile radius of this little city is unbelievable. Really, it is. So let me see something. He may be trying not to be on Facebook. Okay. So, other than that, I'm looking forward to this Sunday morning. We kind of kicked off another show to try to cover all aspects of kidney disease and the people that it affects. And one population that we want to give focus to and shed some light is the transplant community. We all know that there are more people on the transplant list that are kidneys that are available, and there's a push to try to seek for more donations. So we want to give that platform to people to do that, and that's why we came up with Sunday morning transplant coffee talk. And this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA, we're going to have the one and only Renal Warrior from Southern California. This guy is amazing. His name is Wilson Doe. When he first started dialysis, he weighed somewhere about 300 pounds. Now, that was back in 2016. He's shredded up. He's down to almost or possibly a single-digit body fat. He's on dialysis. He's doing triathlons. He's riding bikes up to 300 to 400 miles, raising awareness and money for cancer survivors and cancer patients. This guy is incredible, and I am blessed to have him this Sunday at 11 a.m. on Transplant Coffee Talk. Okay, I'm waiting for Joe, and I'm not sure what's going on with him. Not sure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, Joe, request to come on. The green button at the bottom. Just request to come on. And I'll see that request from you. And it's at the bottom of your screen where you can see the comment section. I see you watching, buddy. I'm just waiting for you to request to come on. It's right down here at the bottom where you see the two people. There we go. Let's see what happens, y'all. Waiting for him to pop up. There we go. There we go. What's up, Joe?
Bill Killer.
I was trying to hold the fort down.
I'm trying my headset on. I had to get my assistant to help me out here. Hey, where's the headset go?
Here we go. We good, everybody.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, Joe, what's going on, man?
Oh, just living life, man. Just living life. You there still?
Yeah, absolutely. What's
Beautiful.
up, man?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
All right, pleasure to meet you, man. As far as seeing you face to face, it's almost like being in front of you and shaking your hand.
Exactly. I don't look like Jimmy Buffett though, but I'm sorry. This is all you get.
Oh, oh, that was Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't even know. Okay, yeah, man. I'm glad you were able to get in. Now we can start, man.
Oh, most
I was
definitely.
just sharing a little bit about your story. So tell everybody who you are, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Bueno. Tell us about you, man.
My name is Joe Bueno. I live here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Back in 2003, I had got diagnosed with a rare kidney disease called membranous nephropathy. I did 13 months of chemo. It was a struggle. It broke me, and I literally had to build myself back up. I did that. Everything went well after that. It took a little while to get back into shape. In 2010, I moved from Jersey down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I was down here for 2 months, best physical shape of my life, and I had a stroke in my sleep. My heart went to AFib, and then went in full blown renal failure.
Wow.
So that was the start of this journey. And
In your sleep?
in my sleep, didn't even know I had it. I woke up next morning, I was fine, other than I was blind. I lost my peripheral vision in my left eye. That's the only reason I
Wow.
knew. I'm sorry.
Wow. Now I say I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sorry. It actually made me even a stronger person for who I am today. So I'm blessed
Right.
to have gone through it and made it through to the other end. So I mean, to me, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Okay. Okay.
But after that, I started dialysis right away, and I spent 7 years on dialysis. While being on dialysis, I suffered 2 heart attacks, and what else? And a major bleed out that I lost. By the time I got back to the hospital, what happened was a hospital, I can't say what state, gave me the wrong medication and bled me out basically. So the next morning, I went back to the hospital. Driving there, I had to drive 40 miles one way. Driving there, I was dizzy. I started feeling faint. Got to the hospital, found out I had 4 liters of blood in my body, and they needed to airlift me to a different state, and they ended up giving me 9 liters of blood and 25 bags of plasma. I remember the helicopter flight there. I remember like hearing the pilot on, and I had my nurse right next to me. I could hear him. I couldn't talk to him, and he said there was another helicopter we were waiting for, and he said, "Listen, this is a brand new helicopter. This is the first flight, and the guy can't die in my first flight. So I need to get on the ground. So you can get on the ground stat." And I'm like, I'm listening to this, and I'm
Wow.
like, I'm dying? Really? I'm dying. But they can't hear me so loud back there. And so the security officer came out and said, "Listen, can you see my flashlight?" And on the back of a helicopter, it's glass windows. Like the new ones, it's glass. So you're tilted up, aiming out this glass window, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna go out this window, and I'm just gonna die. So he lands, and the next thing I know, the nurse from my helicopter ride straddles on top of me, and I'm like, what? Is this part of the plan? And I remember getting to the doors, and after the doors, I don't remember anything for 4 days. I woke up 4 days later in a hypervolemic shock. That's how bad it was. So I mean, it's been a rough ride, and I was lucky and blessed. You know, I got called 7 times to get a transplant. I was on dialysis 7 years, and I was blessed on October 24th, 2016, that I got a transplant, and it's been great since.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a journey.
So how did you get involved in the clean eating?
The clean eating, um, to be honest with you, and as strictly honest as I can, when I first started dialysis, I was like, I don't need this, and I lived my life. If I went, I signed off early. Even if I went, sometimes I would not go at all. But
Hey, Joe,
yeah,
hold on. Now you said if you went, you signed off early because there's a lot of people who do that. And tell them why they shouldn't do that.
there's a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't do it. Number one, you'll get overloaded quicker and you'll end up not being able to, you'll be drowning from the inside out. And it's a horrible experience. Trust me when I tell you that. You don't want to go to the hospital for that. Uh,
You experienced that,
oh,
didn't you?
I experienced that at least 4 times because I didn't learn my lesson the first time. I needed to learn a couple more times. I thought, to me, I questioned my faith because I was like, I did chemo. I beat that. Why do I have to do this? What did I do so bad that I have to go through this process again? Why do I have to keep on fighting? And that was my anger coming out. So my way of doing and handling that was rebelling against dialysis. But the only person I was hurting was me. I was hurting no one else but me. And it took me to go to Duke, work the process through Duke, about to get on the list. And they said, you know what? You're not ready. I was mad as hell. I was blown up. But when you really think about it, I got no one to blame but myself. I made those choices. And with those choices, I wasted 2 years of my life to try to get on a transplant list, which I couldn't do because I didn't show up. I didn't prove to them that I was ready for my transplant. And I'm glad they did it. I really am. It showed me a lot. It made me respect the system, it made me respect the process. And that's what it's about.
Right, right. Well, what would you say to people who don't have faith in the process, who maybe been waiting like 5, 6, 7 years and haven't heard the call yet?
My thing to everyone, and I work with a bunch of people now. I'm starting my foundation. I'm waiting for a few things to come in from the government, but
Right,
I actually go and work with people that want to get on this transplant list. And what you have to understand is if you're going to sit there and sit on dialysis and not do anything and just sit there and expect that transplant to come to you, then you got a long wait. You're going to wait a long time. But if you're active and you motivate and you show these doctors, hey, you know what? He's eating clean. He's leaning out. He's walking. He's moving. He wants it. He's hungry. He wants this transplant. They're going to fight for you. But you know what? You got to show that fight first before you get anywhere in life. Because if you're sitting there thinking that transplant's going to come to you, let me tell you something. You're in a rude awakening. That transplant's not coming to you. You want something bad enough, you need to fight for it. And you need to start right away. Because you know what? No offense to dialysis centers. I applaud you. And Steve, I told you to say, you guys deserve a lot of recognition for all the crap that you guys do. And you guys don't get enough of it. And right now, thank you for everything you do for us and
oh man,
everyone around.
appreciate that. Thank
You guys don't get enough. But what people need to realize is that you guys are showing us a service, and that's all. You're there to dialyze us, to
you. Right,
fix us that part. When it comes to the transplant and getting all what you need to do to get your transplant, no one else is yours. You need to fight and step up and do it yourself. Because you know what? That transplant center is
right,
there to clean you and make sure you're healthy for the next day. The transplant process is all on you. You got to be on top. I called my transplant center enough that when I met them, they knew me. They thought they knew me for 5 years. I mean, that I contact them every day. When you want something, you got to keep on going after it. If they say not today, well, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to call you back tomorrow. I'm going to be a thorn on their side, and I'm going to aggravate them
right.
until they listen.
But Joe, let me ask you this. You know that there are more people on the transplant list. There are organs available.
Oh yeah.
So how do one overcome that challenge when there's a shortage, and they may not can't see
It,
that they may
it,
be that one to get picked.
if you're on dialysis and you're sitting there and you're tired all the time, you're dragging, you just don't want to do nothing but go home and go to sleep. You need to start walking every day, and not only walking, you need to eat clean. And when say eat clean, do your renal diet, absolutely. But you know what? I hear all the time, oh, I can't eat healthy because it's too expensive. I'm gonna call BS on that because you know what? You can get a bag of chicken legs for $7.99, and that's what eight of them. So you got a week full of dinners. Oatmeal. How much is oatmeal? $2 for a 12-pack?
Oh, and Joe,
Yo.
let me ask you,
Yep.
with those chicken legs, they should be either boiling, grilling,
Yep. Or baked.
or baking.
Yep. That's it.
No
No
frying,
fried.
right?
No fried whatsoever. Fried. This is not a diet. This is a life changing experience. Because you know what? You're gonna receive the ultimate gift, and I promise you, it's gonna be the best experience of your life. It's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be the roller coaster from hell, but it's gonna be the best experience of your life, and you're not gonna go back to your old ways as soon as you get this second chance in life, and you can go back to old ways of eating greasy food and this and that. There's no way in hell. What's wrong with you?
But
You want that kidney to last 15 to 20 years. You don't want to get rid of it in a year.
right, and Joe, I wholeheartedly agree with you because I I mean I've been on social media doing what I'm doing since 2014, and I recently met you and seen what you was doing, but really only the main kind of it's only been like three or maybe four people who I see that's doing kind of like what you're doing, but in their own way. That's you, the guy Renal Warrior,
Yep.
um, Lamonte,
Excuse me.
Reed, that does his thing out in Southern California, and it was another guy. I haven't seen him in a while. His name was Shad Island. They called him Iron Shad. He back in the '90s rode for Epogen across the United States. He's a dialysis patient,
Nice.
and he rode across the United States going to different centers, and he had Epogen sponsor him. And so I really haven't seen a big push, and that's the thing. If you was to get you and other people like that who've been through that experience, where to get that information out there to people on dialysis to show them that if you try it this way, even though that you're going through dialysis, you can still go through it and feel good and just kind of oh, and I'm one more person, guy Garland, Alexandra Garland out of Georgia. He's L Smooth, rides mountain bikes,
Right.
and he's on dialysis, and he rides mountain bike.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like five people.
there. Like I tell everyone I start with, I'm like, listen, give me 30 honest days, and I'll show you the difference of a lifetime. But you have to work. It doesn't come to you. And people think, oh well, I might as well just sit here and die. Why? You can live a normal life on dialysis, but it's just like I told you before, Steve. Remember when you first joined the sport in high school, and I joined football, and we put the gear on, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna hit people now. And no, we for a month we ran with gear on, triple sessions, and you're like, oh, maybe in the afternoon we're gonna do something. No, we ran, we did crab crawls, we ran. When I got home for a month, I didn't want food, I didn't want a shower, I just wanted my bed. That's what dialysis is. Dialysis is the same concept. It's a sport. Not too many of us could play it. What? There's 180,000 people that actually play dialysis. It's the same concept. The only thing when you're not working out and eating clean, the only thing that's working is your heart. Now we need to level.
Right,
We need to level that playing field so you don't end up like me having two heart attacks on dialysis. So
right,
what I'm trying to do is listen. It's just like your car. You have to get your oil changed all the time. So if you're driving a lot, you got to keep up with that car. You got to keep up with the engine of your body. You got to clean that thing. You got to have that running, ready to run at all costs. And when you get in shape, I'm not saying people have to lose weight. Not all people need to lose weight, but a majority of people do. But if you lose that little bit of weight, I have a patient that I work with right now. The man's 60 years old. Hopefully he's listening right now. And when I first got him, everyone's like, Joe, good luck. He's anti-dialysis. When I met him, he had a dialysis suck shirt on, and I was like, oh, can you give me anyone harder? And I sat there. I said, listen, do you want a transplant? He's like, I can't get one. I said, that's not what I asked you. I said, do you want a transplant? He was like, yes. I said, When you're ready, you give me a call. And I handed him my business card. It took him about a week. He gave me a call. We sat on the phone for an hour. Now, me and him both walked almost the same journey. He had cancer, I had cancer. We both did chemo. We both overcame that battle. And we learned a lot about each other. Now, we're about, say, 15, 20 years apart, but I go see him every day. When I first started with him, I saw him every single day. Every day at lunchtime, I would meet him at his office and we would walk. And I got him into that routine, and told him, I said, listen, I want to keep at a 1,200 calorie diet, and because God knows what he was eating before, and I don't want to shock him too hard right away. So we kept him at 1,200 milligrams, and the weight started coming, and I was like, okay. And in South Carolina, I have control of his dialysis. I make the recommendations to the nurses and doctors and tell them, listen, I want to challenge him today, but never challenge him on a Monday. But Wednesdays and Fridays, while he's on that weekend, I'm going to let him, he has his cheat day on the weekend. So that Monday, he's going to work hard. Tuesday, he's going to work hard. And Wednesday, I'm ready to take more weight off of him.
Hey, Joe. Okay, let me back up for some people who may be watching and be saying, "Ho, ho, ho! Wait a minute! You called the dialysis people and had control. You're not a
Nope.
medical doctor, are you?"
I am not. I'm what they call a transplant coach, which I went through the dialysis.
What is a transplant coach? Can you give us that definition?
Well, the definition I have is that I go and I meet you, I line you up, I give you everything that the transplant place you're going to attend and go to your orientation at. I have you get all the stuff that you need to get to that transplant. So when you go there, you have all your stuff done and you're handing them paperwork. So the only thing they have to do is review it and put you on that list. So I'm cutting out the whole process, a 2-year process of you going there. They're going to tell you what they want, what they're going to do, and then they have to schedule you in. So sometimes it takes 3 to 4 months to get you a schedule for one appointment. So I'm cutting all that out and getting the people to pass their test because the 2 hospitals that I do work with, I know the tests that they're going to give you to find out if you're athletic enough to go through the process. So I'm going to train you on all their little tests and exercises, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what you're going to need the day you walk into that building. So when you walk in that building, you have all your ducks in a row, and you're saying, oh, I need all that? Well, here's all my paperwork. Here's everything that you're going to ask me and tell me to go that I need to get done. It's already done. Here you go. Now, they just have to review it. And every 2 weeks, the doctors come together and they review it. Now all your ducks are in a row, and the only thing they can say is either no, you can't go on the transplant list for this, or you're on the list, and there you go. Now you're not waiting that year or 2 years to go through all the crap that they want you to go through. You have it all done right here.
And let me ask you, so do you also make sure that once the patient or the person gets on the transplant list, do you make sure that the dialysis facilities are sending the PSAs to the
I make sure
transplant?
everything. And what I'm blessed with is the dialysis center that I'm basically working with right now. Well, the 2 I'm working with right now, I've been there. I was a patient with them, so they all know me. I had the same doctors at both facilities, so it works out well for me because I have that bond with them already. So for me, it's actually really cool for me because I got the inside track because I got my transplant at UNC, great hospital. I swear by that hospital, great hospital. But I got my transplant there, and 7 years on the list, you kind of make friends. You see these people
Right.
constantly. You make friends, and and you have that bond, and you get to learn the whole process. And that's all I'm doing. I'm bringing the process to the people and saying, listen, here are all the answers. My answers might not work for you. I don't have them all, but you know what? They might help you. And if I could get
Mm-hmm.
my job is the way I see my job and how I want to see it. Dialysis centers hate me. Transplant centers love me because I want to get you off dialysis as quick as I can. I don't want you on dialysis. Dialysis is good, it's keeping you alive, but you know what? I want to get you off as quick as possible. But dialysis centers won't do that. And it's not because the techs, the nurses, or the doctors, it's the policies of the centers itself. I understand it's a business.
Right.
It's a business. First and foremost, is a business because you got investors that you need to pay back. I get it. I'm a business owner. I understand, but I want to cut that process out. I want to make it quicker
Right.
for these patients to get on the list quicker than they're getting now. Instead of a 2 3 year
Right.
backlog, I want to get you in your first year. That's my goal. Is to have all my
Right.
people within 6 months of working with me be on that list. That's my goal. And if that means I got to walk with
Right.
them every day, I'm going to walk with them every day. If it means I got to write their diets every week, I'm going to write their diets every week. If I need to go and sit there because they need an event, I'm going to be there so they need an event. I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's not an hour of time. If I'm on the phone, I won't answer. But if you text me or leave a message, within 10 minutes, you'll get a phone call back. And that's how I
Right.
roll, you know? And
So, Joe, let me ask you,
yeah,
um, as, as a transplant coach, do you get paid for your services?
not a dime, not a penny.
So
Nothing.
this is all volunteer that you're doing.
Every last bit of it. Every last.
Man, God bless you, man. That's wonderful, Joe. I mean, because you don't see the just the thought of a transplant coach. Um, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
That that is a man. That is a good idea, and unfortunately, because of the way situation
Hmm.
is, you do need something like that,
Yeah.
man. I mean, that would be great. If my partner Tamika was here, she would tell you that that would be great because that transplant coach can walk that person right through, like you saying, walk them right through the
and
steps.
and the problem is, Steve, is that we go to dialysis and we're broken, we're lost, and we have no direction. And dialysis centers, unfortunately, they're not in the business of getting you direction. They're in the business of cleaning you and keeping you alive. That's their business. So, and I respect that, and I'm grateful for it. But I want to tell people, if you're thinking that the dialysis center is going to work your process and case for you, you're sadly mistaken. You're going to wait a long time. You got to do it yourself. I mean, you tell them, listen, I need my records transferred to UNC, and they have to transfer them with. They have like I think 3 or 4 days to transfer them, but everything will go, and then it's your job to contact the transplant center and push for that name for them to pull your name quick. And that's your
Hey,
job.
Joe,
Yeah.
do you have to be a resident of North Carolina to be on UNC's transplant list? Like if somebody in Baltimore or Atlanta or Florida wanted to be on that list, could they?
You could you could be on anything. I mean, I was at 4 transplant centers. I mean, I was in Virginia. I was in North
Don't you
Carolina.
have to be within a
No,
don't you have to be in
no.
a certain range
Well, they want you within
distance?
they want you within 4 to 5 hours of getting there, because it's still a process. I mean, they're keeping the if it's a deceased, they're keeping the person on a ventilator until you get to the hospital. So that kidney won't if you get to the hospital say at noontime, you're not gonna if you're gonna get transplanted, you're not gonna get transplanted the next morning, 9 times out of 10, because they want to make sure you don't need a dialysis treatment before you transplant or anything like that. So they give you
So
enough time.
Joe,
Yeah.
what if somebody in Philadelphia who's watching this right now,
Yep.
uh, in another state has said, man, I like what this guy's doing. I want him to train me, or I wanted to use him to get me inspired. How could they do that, or how could you work with somebody outside of South Carolina who want to use your service?
I have people actually in Jersey that I work with. I have people in North Carolina that I work with, which I don't get. The man in North Carolina, I went to dialysis with him, and he just needs to lose 25 pounds, and he's stubborn as hell, but he loves food. So I just got to give him away from the Waffle House. I'm actually going to go see him next week. But I Skype with you. I talk to you on the phone. Whatever email, however you want to talk, I'm going to talk. And if once I get some funds up and I can get to you, I'm going to be on the next flight getting to you or driving up there to see you, because I always want to be face to face with my patient at least one time. I want to be able to get to know you
Wow.
on a personal level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My partner Tamika,
And I want
I
wait,
wanted
wait,
to
I want to
back.
be on with Tamika because she's off the hook. I like watching you guys both together.
Yeah, he's gonna. We're gonna definitely have you back on when we have the other format. Most definitely. But I wanted to go back and highlight some of the things she remarked on
Okay.
that you said about the patients eating clean. She mentioned that it has to be a mindset. You
Exactly.
know.
If you don't want to get helped, there's nothing I could do to force you to get help. You gotta want to be better. You want to feel better. You don't want to drag. I can't change your mind. You have to want to have it. You will want to be to get better. But I can't change your mind. If you're in a rut, I will work with you and I'll try to push you along. But ultimately, if you're not ready, it's a big step. I mean, this is life changing. This is not just a diet. This is not just working out to get the transplant. This is the rest of your life. I mean, really, if you really look at it, if you really want this kidney to last, you got to work at it every single day. And granted, when you get off the transplant, listen, I finally got waived to go and actually work out probably 4 months ago. So I took 1 month that I went and ate the food that I wasn't allowed to eat for 7 years. It made me sick as hell. I stopped eating it and I went back to eating clean. But I had to say, you know what? I did it. I overcame it. I'm here. And this is how I choose to live my life. You have to choose. You have to want to live, dude. I can't. No one can force you to do that. But you gotta believe. You gotta have enough sense in your life that you believe in yourself that much. Because you know what, Steve? We fought for a lot less in our lives. We fought for boyfriends, girlfriends, over $100, over $5, over $10, and you're gonna tell me when the time is tough for you, you're not gonna dig in and fight? Come on, man. No one could tell me that
Yeah.
you as a person is not worth that fight. I'm sorry. I'll fight
Hey,
you every day.
hey, Joe. So, what would you say to that person who recently been diagnosed with kidney failure that's in the prime of their life, maybe like 28, 30 years old? They just got hit with that diagnosis. What could you say to them to, help them look at this in a better light?
In a better light, I would say, listen, you're still alive. Number one, he blessed you. He let you stay here. Two, this is a time for you to clean up everything. Clean up your diet. Start working out. And I'm not asking people to go lift weights and this and that. No, I just want you to walk. Just walk. Don't.
Why walk?
Why? You move. All we do on dialysis is sit. We sit for 5 hours. A lot of us get bed sores, this and that, because that's all we do. You got to get and move your body. You got to your muscles going. You got to get in shape. And the only way your dialysis would not phase you unless you're in shape. And everyone just needs to get in shape. Eat right, get in shape.
What?
It's a positive thing. There's no negative out of this.
Hey Joe,
Yo,
what would you say for that person who's what would you say to that person who's confined to a wheelchair?
what I and I've talked to plenty of people on wheelchairs, and you know what the irony that they tell me is just, and they tell me and say, Joe, I look at these people that can walk, and they don't. Why? I said because they think that their life is over. He's like, man, life isn't over. I wish I could get up and walk. I can't. But he sits there and he goes, I eat right. I work out with my arms, so because those are my legs now, because they had to pull my body weight. I work my arms as much as I can because of my fistula, and I eat right. And I work my upper body because that's what controls everything. But I feel good. When I get done with dialysis, I'm not tired. I'm mad that I'm not tired because by the time I get out, it's nighttime and I'm wired now. So I was like, dude, I understand. I'm totally like that. I understand. But unfortunately, I have my legs. He's like, I don't, he doesn't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for him. He doesn't want me to feel sorry for him. But he just doesn't understand why. And everyone's different. Everyone takes diseases and everything different. Granted, when I got hit with chemo, for 6 months, I asked myself why. Why did it? Why? But you know what? We all have to say, you know what? It happened. It's over. Take a minute. Figure out what's going on, and then go forward and fight. And that's the mindset we all need. Because you know what? There's so much hate in this world that people on dialysis have no business even dealing with the hate that's out there. The only thing they should be worried about, I need to get healthy. I need to make dialysis work for me, and don't let dialysis define who I am. You got to take charge in everything you do in dialysis. So eating clean and working out, and if you can't work out, like eat clean. Feed your body with protein and the right foods. Don't give it the fried foods and everything else. It's just not going to work out in the long run. And then when you're that bad off and you're wishing and praying to God that you had one more chance, well, He gave you that chance with dialysis. That was
Wow.
your crossroad. Am I going to let dialysis define me
Wow.
and drop, or am I going to achieve this and I'm going to go on? Those are your choices on dialysis.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's not a cure. It's a safety net for right now. So
Right.
our jobs are to make the right decisions so we can go forward. And that's what I'm trying to show these people. Listen, this isn't a death sentence. You can have a
Hey,
normal
hey,
life on dialysis.
hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Someone had a question to say, can you weight lift while you're on dialysis?
Can I?
Would you?
Oh yes, I did. I did every day. After my 2 years of I knew everything. I didn't need dialysis. The whole self pity stuff. I worked out every day. I rode my bike 5 miles a day. I walked at least 9 miles a
Hey,
day, and I went to the gym and did. And you had to ask your doctors. And my doctor gave me the okay to do 25 pounds curling on my right arm. That's it because of my fistula. But everything else, my legs, everything, I worked out. I by the time I got my transplant, I was at 200 pounds solid, and I kid you not, I went in for my transplant at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got out at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in recovery, and I was busting on everyone. I was laughing and everything, and they got me to my room. They wanted me to go to the bathroom to, excuse my language, poop, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. So they said I'm non-compliant. My doctor came running in, and I was like, listen, doc, I want to be able to get up and walk. He was like, you're going to get up and walk? I said, I'm going to get up and walk. I'm not going to use a bedpan. I'm getting up and walking right now. He was like, well, I don't think it's a good idea. I said, doc, he said, the quicker I get up and I walk, I could leave. I'm walking. I didn't have one bit of pain. I was sore, like I got hit by a Mack truck, but it was a good sore. And that was it. I didn't take one painkiller. I didn't take anything. I refused it all. I said, if a Tylenol can't work, but I didn't need anything. I didn't have headaches. I didn't have nothing. It was the best experience of my life. It really was, hands down.
hey, let me ask you, do you work with anyone who's in um, any of the stages of kidney disease who haven't made it to stage 5?
I
Have you
do.
worked with anyone?
I do. And the first thing I say is, do you work out now? No. Let's start now. This is the time to start because I want you to be ready. So when you do hit dialysis, everything, and you will know, and we'll know when he's about, when his.
But no, wouldn't you want them to not hit dialysis, especially if they in
It,
stage 2 or
well,
3?
if they're 2 or 3, I would love for them to eat clean and do all that. But unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, I could preach to choir. But some of us, and I'm one of them, we have to learn by our own mistakes. I couldn't learn by someone telling me, dude, I wouldn't do it if I were you. I had to say, you know what, I'll do it. Let me go ahead and see where this road's gonna take me. Unfortunately, it didn't take me down a really good road where all my nurses were like, dude, what do we tell you? I'm like, you know what, you read about it. I wanted to live it. I wanted to see how bad it was, so I knew not to do it again. So
Okay. Hey Joe,
you.
I have a viewer who said a lot of what you're saying is true, but they said it takes time to get to that point in your new life, which your new normal would be dialysis. Somebody just gets diagnosed. They think that.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, and they're
And he
asking.
was just saying that it don't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. It took me 2 years. Like I said, 2 years of screwing up on dialysis. I wasted 2 years on dialysis where I could have been listed and transplanted probably by then, but instead I chose the wrong path. Now, I'm not, and it's going to take time, but the time is You got to remember the time when you want to decide to get that done. Each day that you waste on not doing it is another day that you're not going to get that transplant, and someone else is going to get it before you, and you're on for another year. So that's the way I
Right.
saw it. But I remember I had chemo to start off with. Chemo was my first battle. I won that battle. So when dialysis came, all I said is, "Can I fix it?" Yes. How do we fix it? You gotta go dialysis. Okay, send me there. And I had my tunnel vision from day one when they told me I had to start dialysis was I'm gonna get my transplant. Everything else, when I had my heart attacks, I'm like, can we fix it? Yes, fix it. I don't want to know nothing about it because my goal was getting my transplant. Nothing was gonna stop me from getting my transplant, and I made
Yeah.
I made dialysis as a game. I don't like to lose games, so dialysis was my game. So every day that I went to dialysis, and I started dialysis at 127 kilos, so I was a big boy. So by the time I got done with dialysis, I think I was at 97 kilos when I went into my transplant.
Right.
So that's the dedication that I put to me because I didn't want to be on dialysis anymore. I hated needles. I hated the 14 gauge needles. They sucked. But I didn't want that for my life anymore. And I chose earlier. I chose after 2 years that this isn't the life I wanted to live. And it
Hey,
like
hey, Joe.
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Someone asked, does working out give you more energy? Because after dialysis, they're usually drained.
Let me tell you, and I hope I have my nurses on my page, and I let them all know they would contest to this. After I started working out, they hated my guts. I mean, I was singing dialysis. I wouldn't sleep. I'm like, woo! I would start political conversations just to make people piss off. I mean, I was buck. I had more energy than I knew what to do with, and it was awesome. It was just
Right.
nonstop. It was just, and it was all good. I didn't drink caffeine. I stay away from dark sodas. In the beginning, yes, I hate the sodas, but after I decided this is the stance I'm going to have and this is where I want to be, that there was no hold bars. I was directed into it.
Hey, Alexandra Garland, one of the guys, the mountain biker AL Smooth, he's out of um, Augusta, Georgia. He writes, he did 42 miles today on his
Hell
bike.
yeah. See,
And
and that's what I'm talking
he
about.
said, yeah, he says working out always give him new strength.
Oh
But
yeah.
he said it takes time to get there,
Oh,
honestly.
and honestly, and like I keep on telling you, it took me 2 years. But my hope with all this is, and I was fortunate. I was lucky to get fresh people just coming on dialysis, and one of them is a friend of mine that I've known for 20 years, and it's his father. And he's as stubborn as they get. Trust me when I tell you, he's stubborn. But he had to go to the transplant center to realize what I was saying, that he wasn't in shape and he needed to drop that weight. And now he's cranking the weight off. I mean, he's putting him away. And the man's 62 years old. I applaud him. And they're getting it done. I mean, my youngest client right now is 60 years old, and they're getting it done to get a transplant. So you're gonna tell me
Hold on, wait a minute. Say that again. Your youngest client is how old?
60 years old and getting
Oh,
it done.
six.
60, 60.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my youngest. My oldest is 64, and they're getting it done. And these people are set in their ways. They gain their weight. They pay for every bit of their stomach. And now I'm telling them, a younger guy, you need to drop all that. We need to,
So Joe,
yeah.
why do you don't have a younger population working with you?
Working with me? Or,
I mean,
or
working out, because there's a lot of young people that's on dialysis that struggle with weight and not on the transplant list. So I'm just curious, why is your youngest patient 60 years old?
because these are the only ones that want help, that realize that they can't do it by themselves. And you can't on dialysis. You can't. There's no way. I tried. I reached out to everyone I could possibly do. My wife is a nurse, and I wouldn't allow her to even come near me because when she came home, this was her safe spot. She helped patients all day long. She doesn't need to help me. That I have doctors and nurses for that. That was her space. But how do I? These younger generations, they know it. You know, I had four that I talked to, and for some reason, I had one that would shoot up heroin in his fistula, and I was like, dude, do you understand what you're doing? Yeah, but it gets in quicker. Really? Then I was in North Carolina Dialysis Center, and I saw another young kid, 27 years old, sitting there. His toe fell off, just fell off. And I was just like, "Are you kidding?" I literally had to leave. It was rotted away. He was like, "I was gonna get it cut off on Friday. Now I don't have to go." I'm like, "Are you?" I was dry heaving. I was just like, "And you don't care? How do you not
God.
care about that?" 27 years old, his toe just falls off. Why?
Oh my God.
And these are people that don't take their binders, that don't do the things that they're supposed to do, and they wonder why all these things, bad things, are happening. Well, I don't know.
Right.
You know,
I agree with that because I've seen a lot of that in my career. Hey, Joe, I have a guy. His name is Manuel. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Jimenez. Um, but he wants to know how should he start working out? Should he get a personal trainer?
you don't even need that, man. Save your money, man, because on dialysis, and if you're going for a transplant, you're gonna need every bit of that money to make it through with all this
Yeah, this
medication.
guy, he's younger than your
Uh,
clients. He wants to know how could you help him?
what I would do personally, the first to start off, if you know, if you live in a, I don't know if he lives in a house or apartment, but if you live in a house, walk around the block once and do it every day, one time every day, for 1 week. Second week, I want you to go as far as you can, hit that block, and then even go as far until you're tired. And when you get tired, go another 50 steps and turn around and go back. And remember where you stopped, because tomorrow you got to pass that. And every day we're going to go further and further. And you're going to talk to me while you're doing this. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to praise you. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get where you need to be. But before you run and hire personal trainers, you got to crawl. You got to get your body regulated to work out again. Because I'll be the first one to tell you, when I started working out, I thought I was in great shape. I can tell you, I walked to the mailbox. I was ready to die. I was like, "Oh, dude, I can't do this. This is hell."
Hey, do you believe it first starts with the mindset?
I do, and you know, you can't lose your faith. And you know, God has helped me through a lot, and my doctors say I'm a miracle for just even being here today. So I praise the man above, and you know, I'm honored that he allowed me to stay. I mean, I literally died almost 9 times in the past 15 years fighting for my life. But you know, I'm blessed with that, and you just gotta believe in yourself. You really do. If you lose the faith within yourself, you'll never accomplish anything. You gotta you gotta believe in yourself like you've never believed in yourself before, because there's gonna be obstacles in your way, and this is not more of a physical than a mind game, because dialysis will play these tricks with your mind and make you feel like you're nothing. And you will have those days, but the quicker you get up, the better off you're going to be. And it's hard. Once you get in that rut, it's hard to come back up. I struggled with it a lot
Right,
because I did this
right,
myself. I kept it to myself. And I don't want people to go through what I went through. It's a lonely, dark place to do dialysis by yourself. It really is. And I don't want people to have to
right.
go through what I went through. So I would walk them through every bit part. And like I said, I'm going to Skype with you. And as soon as I get enough money, I don't care if you live in Alaska, I'm going. I'm not going to go in the dead of winter because I'm not that kind of person. I like my warm
All
weather,
right.
but I will go there and I will make sure I see you face to face at least one time.
Hey, hey, Joe, I encourage you, man, to after the interviews, if you get an opportunity to go back through this feed
Oh, absolutely.
and look at some comments, because the gentleman on here named Manuel Jimenez, who I've been relaying some of his questions. He says he lives in an apartment, and thank you, and he wants to let you know about his progress.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of what you're saying, Joe, it's needed, man.
Hey,
What struck me was the transplant coach. I
yep.
think people need a transplant coach, and the one thing I'm glad that I talked with you, because when I first saw like start seeing your post and you was just talking eating clean,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't really catching on to me. But then when I got to talk to you, you told me what you do and the whole program.
Right.
Um, it makes sense, Joe. It makes sense because a lot of people who's on a transplant list, um, you know, I'm coming from a clinical
Right.
perspective
Exactly.
from what in the units where Davita, these companies are so big
Mm-hmm.
where sometimes this stuff falls through the cracks. You're supposed to draw someone who's on a transplant list blood each month, send it off to the transplant office.
Mm-hmm.
That falls through the cracks.
Yep.
Patients don't keep their appointments. Other things come up.
Yep.
They don't think about it.
Yep.
But if they got someone like you
That's
who
on
can
top of
walk
everything.
them through the
Mm-hmm.
steps, you know what's going on. You're mindful. You're making them mindful. You're holding them accountable.
Yep.
You know the process. Then nothing can't fall through the cracks, and they can
Exactly.
walk through that journey knowing that they have a great shot of getting that call.
And you know, and if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your family members. You know, you should want to do it for yourself because it, if you go to wherever you go, I don't care where you go get your transplant, just get it done because it is a blessing. It really is because when you wake up the next morning, all I want to do is walk. I just want to get up and run. That's it. I couldn't do it, but that's that. And I felt like I was 20 years younger. It was that kind of experience, and I wish that everyone that's on dialysis, and I wish everyone could get transplanted and feel that what I felt. That was just an awesome experience, and I want everyone to understand that. And my other goal is to make sure that people aren't on dialysis longer than they have to. If I could get you on that
It,
list in a year, 2 years, that is my goal. You know, that's what I'm pushing for, and that's what I want people to understand. I'm not doing it to be an asshole. I'm not doing it. I want you to get on dialysis, and I want you off dialysis as quick as possible. That's my goal, is to get people in and out as quick as possible.
so, Joe, I got two
Go
questions.
ahead.
First, I mean about to wind it down, but the one question I wanted to ask you: what do you say to that person who just got a transplant and 2 or 3 days post transplant had a complication and the transplant rejected? What advice do you give them through that situation?
And this is how I did my mindset. And every time I was denied a kidney, and you know, I'd never been rejected. Thank good God, knock on wood. And and I feel bad when it does happen for someone, but you're still alive. You know, you still got that fight. You're going right back on that transplant list, so you don't have to worry about going through that whole process again. You're just going right back on. So all you gotta do is maintain, and as hard as it's gonna be, life isn't easy. Everything in life is hard. You gotta overcome it in a way. You gotta find one positive thing of that negative thing, and you gotta hold on to that positive thing, no matter how small it is. Hold on to it and strive through that one positive. That's what you need to do.
But hey, Joe,
Yeah.
I seen someone who went through that got sick
Hmm.
because they got an infection or something went wrong during that surgery or process,
Right.
and they, that experience, they didn't want to get back on the list because of that experience. What do you say to that person who experienced some complication that could mainly almost kill them, and now they're alive and they're hesitant about getting back on the list because of that?
I mean, and I can't speak for them because you know we all think different. But if it was me, I would keep on moving forward. I would want another transplant. I mean, I can't say how she feel or anything like that because it's not me. All I can say is
Right.
how I would do it. Me, I quitting is just not in me. I mean, I told you yesterday. I had
And
a
no,
what happened yesterday to me.
I want to know.
My blood pressure spiked to what 210 over 110 yesterday. Mild heart attack, and I'm here talking on the phone with you like, oh, okay, no big deal. all my doctors, oh, you guys sit down and relax. Well, you know what? That's not in my vocabulary. I don't know how to do that. Dialysis killed me because
But
I can't sit still. So,
hey, Joe, that blood pressure though, you have to watch that because that can mess up that transplant kidney if
oh
you don't
yeah,
have that under control.
oh yeah, we got it under control now. No more coffee.
Okay, okay, good, yeah. Hey, Joe, one, one more question because we are out of time, but just one more question.
Yeah.
What motivates you to do this, to help people, to make sure that they get a transplant? What's the drive for all this?
My drive is my donor. My donor did a selfless act. She checked yes in a box. Now, I know her as Kelly. I sent a letter to her mom. It took me 8 months to write it because she died in October, end October. So now they were looking at, because she had children, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. I mean, what do you how do you thank someone for their loss? I mean, that was the toughest letter I think I've written in my life. And when her mom came back, I would read it, but I wouldn't make it through the whole letter because I would end up crying halfway through it. But basically, her name was Kelly. She had a husband and 3 children, 7-year old, a 9-year old, and a 20-year old. And a week after her 9-year old's birthday party, she had a massive stroke and died. So, excuse me.
That's okay.
So, my goal and why I started Transplant Warriors 24/7 was because she did a senseless act, and you know what? I owe it to her to do one for someone else, and that's why I opened Transplant Warriors 24/7, and I'm gonna fight as hard as I can to make sure people don't have to stay on dialysis as long as they have to. If I can get you transplanted in a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm gonna be blessed because at least you don't have to wait 7 years like I did. And I mean, I would love to be everyone's voice. And on my business cards, it has Transplant Warriors 24/7, and it has Fight to Live, Live the Fight. And that means I fought to live,
Yeah,
and I'm living the fight for
I
you
like
now.
that.
And that's my message. And if you allow me to help, if any of your listeners or my listeners, whoever's listening, wants help, please Transplant Warriors 24/7 on Facebook, or you can hit me up on Facebook, and I'll do whatever I can to make this process go as quick as I can for you. But note right now, this is going to be the hardest process of your life, mentally and physically, and you need to work and get it done.
Hey, Joe, do you have email
I do.
that they can reach you?
It's Transplant Warriors, all one word, at Transplant Warriors 24/7 at gmail.com.
Uh-huh. What about you got a number for them?
I do. You could hit
Or
me.
you I put it up?
No, go ahead. I'll put it out. 973-931-8880. Best way to get a hold of me, though, text me and let me know where you heard me, and we could actually get a conversation going. Because talking during the day just doesn't work out. Everyone wants to call you at the time that you want to talk. So a best way
Right.
to get a hold of me is text me, and then I'll call you back, and I can figure out how I
Say
can.
that number. Say that number again, Joe.
It's 973-931-8880. Call me anytime you want. Text me anytime you want. I'll answer. I sleep 3 hours a night. My mind keeps on racing, so I'm good with my sleep schedule. So I'm up. I'm up by 4 o'clock every morning. So you need to reach out. Reach
And
out.
what's your page again
My
on Facebook?
my page on Facebook is Transplant Warriors, all one word, 24/7. No, Transplant Warriors 24/7 on Facebook.
And what exactly does that group do? Transplant Warriors 24/7.
What's it mean? That I'm available to you 24/7, and I want everyone to become a transplant warrior. I'm a transplant warrior because I got my transplant, and I'm a warrior for surviving dialysis. So I want all my people become a transplant warrior, where they can give back and come back to Transplant Warriors Foundation and talk to people like I'm talking to them. And that's all I want from them. I don't want to thank you. I don't want money from them. I just want them to come back and give back after we're done. That's all I want. Because if we all help each other,
Oh,
if we all help each other, this world would be a whole better place. We just need to come together as one. And once we do that, you'll see a huge difference in this world.
I agree with you, Joe. I agree. Hey, Joe, man, I want to thank you, man. Hey, man, it's been a great conversation, and I look forward to working with you
Most
and
definitely.
having you on Sunday morning transplant coffee talk,
Oh, hell
man.
yeah.
I really enjoyed this,
Most definitely.
man.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you for inviting
inspiring,
me.
man.
Man, I'm trying to do the best I
Yeah.
can, man. I really am. But like I said, I definitely want to work with you. We'll talk on the down low, and let's go big or go home, dude. We're gonna help everyone. That's how that's how I see it. I'm not gonna start as a little
All right,
foundation.
Joe.
I'm going big. All right.
Okay, man. I'll be talking with you, man. God bless you. Everyone, thanks for
Thanks for
watching
watching,
Urban
guys.
Reno Talk
Appreciate
with
it.
Tamika and Steve. Thanks for watching. See you,
Later,
Joe.
man. Peace
Good
out.
night,
Later,
everybody.
man.